Hey guys, this is Ryan from El Topo Loco giving you another Gohan deck profile. We do have Greg here again from the Agents of Destruction. Check out their YouTube channel. It's in the link below. Definitely check them out for any deck profiles. But we're looking at my version of Gohan. The other day we looked at Greg's version, which was red-green. Mine is going to be red-blue. So let's take a look at it. So basically, this deck is trying to abuse some good blue cards, but also utilize this cooler over here for the arrival. We're not running too much other arrival stuff. And the other thing I really wanted to abuse with this deck was Sensu Bean, because Sensu Bean has always been a good card since set one. So he's offensively, defensively. So looking at the deck profile, I really wanted to make sure we got Unisons off, and I toyed around with 6 Unisons at first, but now I'm down to 5, and I'm at a 4-1 split. I'm kind of toying around with this, maybe go 3-2 split, because a Piccolo is sometimes just amazing, especially if they're countering stuff with battle cards. He's just going to pop them right away, and he's always drawing you a card. I even have used the Rejuvenate in the board clearing effect at sometimes, even though that's mostly used in like King Piccolo builds. But you can use that effect in this deck. But I'm mostly stuck with the Unison that was made for this deck because Spirit Boost is really, really good actually in this deck. So not only are you getting the Spirit Boost effect from the leader, which is when you combo with a red vanilla card of 2 cost, which is the only ones that we're really running in here, you make them into 11k combos essentially. And if it's your turn and you use the Spirit Boost, you also get a minus something 10k on their side of the field. So if there's any of those pesky one drops like Black Mass Saiyan or that Goku that you have to discard if you use a counter card, or I don't know, maybe there's just something that like it's just going to sit in active mode and it's really hard to clear off, the Spirit Boost does come in handy. Or if you're even attacking into a card in rest mode, it just makes it so much easier to combo over them. This activate.
Also,
All right, go ahead.
quick note on the Frieza. He also, with the Spirit Boost on Frieza, he can hit Unisons.
Oh,
So
that's a good point.
playing against a deck that runs tall Unisons like a Jiren or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, it literally just because it minuses it for the turn. So if you're
That's
playing
true.
something like Jiren, you can literally make them a 10k for the turn and clear pretty easy.
Well, actually,
compared to comboing up.
I do want to make a correction on that because once you subtract a marker from a Unison, they go back to their base power. So if I make Jiren a 10k, I could attack into it easily, but once he loses a marker, he's back to 20k. So
Ooh, okay.
that's something to keep in mind. But it is actually on the opposite end also very good if you go against small Unisons like the Go Tanks Unison that's 5k, because you're automatically making them lose a marker. Um, so you could essentially swing into it, do a Spirit Boost, make them lose 10k, they lose a marker, and then you're doing that damage, making them lose another marker. So very easy to clear some Unisons because of that. Its activate main is pretty okay. You're just most of the time you're just plussing it and not doing it. But if you feel like you're about to deck out, or if you need more cards to search from your deck, more of the vanillas to search, you could just put them back, and this will come in handy with the Goku we'll show later. But the thing that makes this Unison shine is this auto. When your opponent attacks, and since this does have a cost of plus or minus 0, you can choose when this effect goes off, but it does have to be declared after negates. So before your opponent combos, so they know that at least this combo is happening, you could combo with one skillless Universe 7 in your hand or drop area and combo with it. And then if you want, you can use the Spirit Boost, make anything 11k. So this can make it hard to kill this Unison, at least for one of the attacks, because you can actually have this one combo card in your Unison's defensive step, even though you don't get a defensive step technically. But you can make it a little bit harder for them to kill it, or you could use it on any other attack and just give your leader essentially a super combo. And then if you're using that on top of the Gohan, that's a 1-drop, he will be also drawing you 2 cards off of that. So you're plussing 2 cards because you never comboed anything from your hand. You comboed from the drop. and you're +2 on their turn. So that makes it really, really good. Very easy to make your hand size larger and filter through your deck. Any comments you want to make it so far, Greg?
No, I mean, the reason you play Frieza is for the +0.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's so good. If
Mm-hmm.
you establish Gohan, as soon as they rip, like you can just use it and draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm. And we did mention in the last video, if you didn't check it out, definitely check it out for the red-green version. But Gohan, when you awaken, you want to combo first, get the draw, awaken, draw and untap with the awaken effect, and then combo again to draw from your deck. And if you have this Gohan and you did combo a vanilla, you're drawing an additional card. So on your awaken turn, you should be drawing a lot of cards. So with this deck, I went with a lot of negates, a lot of variations of negates, and I'm still kind of toying around what I like, what I don't like. Um, so Violent Rays, Dark Broly still a thing. Don't ignore that card or that deck at all. It's still pretty strong, or even just the Gojitas that are coming out from the TP pack and also the new set. They're very, very strong. So Violent Rays is good. Topo is good for wide strategies. Wolfang, since you almost always have a Unison out, it does feel good to have a Wolfang Fist on top of also your Unisons +0, and you're drawing from your leader. So it just shuts down some certain attacks. And of course, King Vegeta's imposing presence, since we're running a red Saiyan leader. Um, those are pretty straightforward. Your turn one, most of the time you're going to be playing this Gohan. Search the top 7 or top 5 cards for a red Universe 7. It is important that it is a red one. We do run a few blue ones, but it has to be a red or a Unison specified cost of 2, which we run 5 of them at the moment. At 6, I felt like I was seeing them a little too much. And then if you combo with the vanilla, get an extra draw. The other turn 1 effect you can do is this Ready to Fight Son Goku. This is a blast from the past from Tournament of Power set. But yeah, but he is blue, so this is going to help us with combo pieces for arrival. And it's also allowing us to look at the top 3 cards, and you could choose a Universe 7 of any color and put it to your hand, then shuffle. So you can pick out any of the blue ones with that. Both of these cards, you are typically, unless there's a piece you really want to find, you're typically going to be picking out your super combos as much as you can, or you could pick out the vanillas because sometimes you do want to have them. We also run this one drop Roshi. I'm still debating if I want to cut him or not, but he allows you to grab a vanilla from the drop and reuse them. So that way you get as many combos off of those vanillas as possible. But typically you're not playing him on turn 1 unless you attack, combo with a card, and then you play him afterwards to get that vanilla back to your hand. But unless you have a vanilla in the drop, you're not playing him turn 1. Anything on that lineup so far, Greg?
No, it. Just remember another thing with this deck is even if you have to play the Roshi on like 3 or 4, as soon as you swing, you just combo
Yes.
with him, draw the card, he replaces himself, and then literally, he essentially becomes a plus at that point.
Yeah.
So it's not any of these one drops you play for 5K and you're just like, okay, well, I did that for this. It's like, no, in this deck you get more.
Yeah, that is true. The Gohans I typically try to keep on the field as long as possible, but the Gokus and the Roshis, even though you are picking up cards from the deck or drop, you do want to combo them because if they get killed on the field, then you just kind of lost a card from
Value.
hand and you lost value from it. Yeah. Only times maybe I want to keep Goku on the field is if I want to keep a blue available for an arrival piece. Because we only run a splash of blue in here. But looking at our super combos, I'm running a 3-1 split. We talked about Backbone last time. You don't want to run the Raditz because, one, you sometimes do charge blue, but mostly you're charging red in this deck. But sometimes you might charge a blue just because. But Raditz won't work if you charge a blue. Backbone is not only searchable off a lot of cards like the one-drop Gohan or the one-drop Goku, you can recycle this with a card I'll show you in a second. and it's live as soon as you awaken. You'll have 5 life. This works at 5 life. And when you combo this with your leader, if this is the first card you combo, it's a draw 2 super combo, so that feels really nice. The other super combo we run is Beerus. So it's going to untap one of your red blue energies. And it is also a Universe 7 card. So it is also searchable from the 1-drop Gokus. It's also searchable for the 1-drop Gohans. And you could also reuse it with the extra card I'll show in a second. But this will help us with our arrival or on those turns that we have to tap out. Or you could even use this defensively and use a Sensu Bean on top of it as well to kind of make those defensive plays a lot more manageable on those turns that you do tap out. Now, the extra card we're talking about, and Greg, I know you mentioned this, that this might be a good side card for your red-green version, is We Are Universe 7. So do you want to talk about this one, Greg?
Yeah, so We Are Universe 7, choose one. You add one of your U7s from your drop, which, especially in this red-blue version, being able to go back and scoop your Beerus super combos to just abuse the untap ability and also draw ability. Hint, hint.
Yep.
Incredible. The other thing is that if you're just dead drawing or you need to absolutely see a specific card, you can activate this from your hand to use its second effect, which is choosing a Universe 7 with the energy cost of 4 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. So if you literally cannot find the 1-drop Gohan for whatever reason, or you need to get a hold of that Beerus super combo, but if you go through Ryan's red-blue list, I think there might be a total like 6 cards that cannot be searched out by this.
Yeah, most cards
so
can
it's
be
just
searched.
A super useful toolbox card that gets you the exact card you need.
90% of the time, I am using it to recycle my super combos. Sometimes I'm doing it for the backbone card, but as Greg mentioned, it doesn't feel bad grabbing the Beerus because you're tapping 1 energy. You could tap a red-blue, and then you're getting your super combo, so you're going to be untapping that energy defensively and probably using it with a cooler, which I'm running 3 of those. And it's nice because it is hitting those barrier cards. It is also minusing their field, making it harder for them to push through because you have a huge hand. You might even have imposing presence active, and you're just subtracting more things, and you could really kill their turn with this on top of a few other combo cards. And it's a 20k double strike, which is always good pressure. Running New Ruler, self-explanatory, just because we're running a lot of Unisons. Those Unisons, especially I found Frieza. A lot of people don't clear the Frieza. Piccolo, they try to clear in that a lot, but since Frieza is almost always on the field, New Ruler is always a good way to try to finish the game off. Run 1 Kai, another finisher. Sensu Beans, very good defensively, especially using it with imposing presence, because not only are you plussing yourself, they're minusing themselves, so it's almost like a double bean in that aspect. Looking at a few other things, we're running a 2 to 3. We're basically running 5 of the vanillas. I find that is enough. Kai is our secret rare, self-explanatory. My overwhelm choice, I'm still debating this. Now, I do want your opinion on this, Greg. I'm running Food the Dark Banisher. I'm toss up between this card, Secret Identity Mass Saiyan for sweeping the field, and also the SS4 Bardock, which is a dual attack 25k. What do you think would be the best out of those 3?
Oh man, it's probably one of the better notes of this game is just every one of those cards feels different to play against different colors. Like the biggest problem is like if you're playing Fu and you sit down across from Blue, you immediately have to sideboard it out.
Yeah.
Unless you go Kai the turn before, and then you just gotta hope that they don't manage to somehow end up replacing it before their next turn. I've been super fond of, in my red-green version, I really settled hard on SS4 Bardock. Just because it 25k dual attack, super strong.
And it costs no energy, too.
Yeah, with the negging that red does on defense, sometimes you can kill threats. This deck might not be able to get some of the taller stuff, so I could definitely see a range for Mass Saiyan.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like so much of what you want to do with this deck is just punch, 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 punch.
Yep.
So I tended to lean into the thing that hits the hardest, and for free overrounds, you can't beat Bardock.
True. So going with the whole punch, punch, punch thing, like the whole point of this deck is, I mean, there are some finishers, but the whole thing is this is a grind deck, and you're just out grinding your opponent, diminishing their resources while increasing yours, or at least keeping yours from bleeding out too much. Now, Fu, if used correctly at the right time, and as long as he doesn't get hit by like a counterplay or something, you are making them neg even more cards. So you might not kill them the turn that Fu comes out, but you're heavily crippling them and makes it a lot harder for them to come back. Um,
Oh
like
yeah, against black. Yeah, I mean against black. Maybe not so much red, depending on what you're playing, but against black decks and green decks,
mm-hmm.
Fu literally is probably going to seal games
Yeah,
just the moment he hits the board.
if you have a board outside of Fu is a lot better because if they violent ray it, yeah, they're losing a few cards out of hand, but Fu can't attack anymore. But if you have a bunch of cards to attack with, he gets more value out of it. If they topo with Fu, topo it, like you don't want to play topo against it because you have to discard or you have to warp one for the counter effect. You have to discard one for topo, and you have to warp another card for the effect, the auto effect of topo. So you're losing 4 cards out of the hand, including the topo itself being played, just to get that topo effect. And I could just end turn right there, and I feel like I gained more than you lost. So, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a fan of this, you could definitely switch up this Overwhelm choice. It's not a must. Um, Going into the tech choices, we already talked about Sensu Bean. Sensu Bean is really good, but this Frieza card, Undying Emperor, he's a Universe 7 card. He's searchable. You can combo off of him. You can use him for a rival, but he's a counterplay. And unlike a lot of the blue counterplays, this doesn't. I'm sorry. This does bounce back to the hand, but it does prevent it from being played. So if you're playing something against like maybe Baby or something, and they try doing the Gohan negate, um, you could hit that Gohan with this. And remember, because our Warrior of Universe 7 tag, you don't need 2 blue energy. You just need 2 of any color energy to get this guy to work. And then you could essentially stop that play or any other pesky 3 or less card. I've done it on the Piccolo Jr. Eradicator of Peace before. Tapping 2 for it to not get played is a huge neg on the Piccolo player. Um,
Mm-hmm.
SSB Kaioken. This is our removal, and it's also barrier hate. It's searchable from a lot of our cards in the deck, and you can even use it from We Are Universe 7 if you are really desperate for a field removal. You could just search this out or get it back from the drop. Um, Running one of the Ultra Instinct Son Goku the Unstoppable. This used to be like the staple card to play if you had any blue in your deck. It's kind of faded out because 4 energy does seem like a lot, so we're only running one. But again, it's a U7 card. You could combo it off. You can search this out with the We Are Universe 7. And you don't need 2 blue energy again because Warriors are Universe 7. But this actually hits a lot of cards that people don't expect, including cards with deflect because it is an auto effect. And this card's effect cannot be negated by my opponent's skills. So they can't cold bloodlust it or anything like that. And you could even hit a Cell Secret Rare or something with deflect, and you also get a draw card. So this could really ruin their turn. Any thoughts about that, Goku?
Man, this man. No, he's just such a good card, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like you said. Now that I mean, outside of the very limited times we've seen Baby run this card,
Yeah.
like this card can save your skin. This card knocked me out of a top 8 case tournament with like
Ooh.
70 people. I was playing
Wow.
a Broly.
Mm-hmm.
Where me and my opponent tie. I literally got ninth off the tiebreakers even after the loss. But
Oof.
game 3, he was playing Cooler Mill, and
Mm-hmm.
I did not see this Goku ever.
Mm.
I dropped Kaioken
Mm-hmm.
thinking it had deflect, and he slammed 4 for this Goku, and I might have cried. It felt so bad.
And then other cool thing about this card is since everybody's playing the Kai Secret Rare, if they play the Kai, you counterplay it, but
Oh,
the Kai
that's
still
right.
hits the field. So since the Kai actually hit the field and you were removing it, it's supposed to bounce back to their hand. But the Kai says if this card hits the field and is removed, it is removed from the game. So this is an easy way to remove Kai, and there's a few other secret rares that do have that clause. I think the new Android
Sin,
17.
the yellow Sin,
Yeah.
the yellow 17.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm not sure if the new Frieza Goku has that. I don't think so.
that's yeah. I'll go ahead and I want to look at that real quick because it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
But this could
Five,
kill a secret rare very easily if it has that clause. Hatch has that
yeah,
too. Baby Hatch.
yeah. Oh, yep. The Goku Frieza can't be removed by your opponent's skills,
Okay.
so that's dead on that one.
Okay, so that one
But
would not work. But
yeah, they
we talked about 5 secret rares that do see a lot of play, especially the Kai itself. Pretty crazy if you get that
mm-hmm.
off. And then I think we went through almost everything except for 2 other cards. So the other 2 cards are this check land. So very rarely do you actually want to charge a blue. You can charge a blue, but since you can very easily get these blue Universe 7 cards in your drop, or sometimes you could get a Sensu Bean in the drop with a Violent Rays or a Topo, you will have a blue in the drop very quickly, and you are going to be charging this Warp Land. No one's using the Warp Lands, and a lot of times the check lands are a little bit better if you're running a consistent multicolor deck, but since we're mostly running red, this allows us to have a red that could allow us to have our universe or any effect cards that need red energy or unisons that need red energy without wasting a turn of having energy exhaust. But this also allows us to have our super combo have some use, allows us to have our sensu beans to have some use, and I found that 2 of them is just fine. You see him enough. You might only be able to get 1 off, and then you could use the other one for even a cooler arrival. But I found this card very good and underrated at the time. And the very last card is this Goku. This Goku is very, very good. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
at, I think, 3 or more energy. Yeah, 3 or more energy. It's an activate battle, 2 red. So again, that's why you want to charge mostly red, because if you recharge a red and a blue, then it makes your charging a little bit awkward at times. But you can play him, and then you give one of your mono red cards +5 for the turn. That could be your leader, so it could act like a sensu bean. You could give it to itself if you're doing it offensively, make him a 25k, and then when he swings, he gets another 5k, making him a 30k dual attack. And then when he swings, and since this is every single turn when he swings, you get a red skill list from your deck, and then you're going to be drawing from your Gohans. You're going to be recycling those cards back into your deck. The only time I actually do use the activate main of this Frieza, the +1, to put a skill list to the bottom of the deck is when I'm either low on those skill lists or this Goku is out. So I'm gonna attack, I'm going to do the +1, put a skill list at the bottom of my deck, attack, get that right to my hand, so I'm plussing another card from my hand, and then he's just a beef stick for the turn, and you could clear unisons, clear their field, or just put pressure onto their leader. Um, One other thing I do want to mention is that this
Yeah.
leader. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna praise I was just going to heap more praise on our boy Divine Presence here.
Oh, yeah?
His permanent states that this card cannot move from your battle area by skills during your turn.
Mm-hmm.
When you are playing against decks that have auto outs to bounce battles, I'm looking at you again, Blue. But cannot touch this man. Majin Buu Unison cannot touch this man on your turn.
Oh, true. Yeah.
This man, literally, only thing in red that can swim free. Like, if you need to shotgun Buu, this is your Lord and Savior.
Yeah. It's also good against the Heroine Secret Rare. The Heroine Secret Rare says it can't be removed from your battle area. So I believe that also means, and correct me wrong if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that means they cannot steal this card because it can't leave your battle area during your turn. So,
yeah, it says from your battle area, so I'm pretty sure that can get hit by range. This man, good. Do not sleep on this man at your own peril. This card is amazing.
He is very, very good. One more thing I want to mention before we close this video off is our leader also has an auto that when one of your unisons of a specified 2 or specified cost of 2 is removed from our unison area, and it's placed in our drop, so it doesn't work against the Kai Secret Rare, but when they are put into the drop, you could play a red skillless cost of 2 from your drop area. So this could mean if you even want to play another unison, I believe, if you swing with your unison, do all the effects, whatever, play another one, you get that auto, get a skillless from your drop, and you can attack with it, and then you also have another unison to toy around with, whether you want to use the effects or as another attacker. Or if they just clear one of your unisons, you have another free combo card or another free attacker for the next turn. So this leader does work really well with the Spirit Boost and with the unison interactions that it has built for it.
Yep.
All right. Now, I have been toying around with some other things. I might cut Cooler down to 2. Again, this Overwhelm I'm still toying around with. I might cut these Roshis if you want to go down to 51. I've also tried trying out some of the Yamcha counterplays, and I feel like there's something else I'm kind of toying around with. But if you have any suggestions...
Can I give you a neat combo for the red-blue in this deck?
Go for it.
If you were looking at just something to absolutely abuse in the longer game scenarios, since you were playing red-blue, and you were running a red leader, Broly Crown of Retribution and Majin Buu Hercule.
Majin Buu Hercule, okay. Is that a U7 as well, or no?
No, he's not. But the thing, so these aren't U7 cards, but if you want to tap into the red-blue and you're looking for side deck text, Majin Buu Hercule, when it comes to field, minus 10, and draws a card. But all it does is bounce one of your red or blue cards, I believe it's under 4 or 5 costs, or less, back to your hand at the end of the turn. So, if your opponent is energy open, you can use Crown of Retribution, snuff their hand, goes through, to your turn, you get to do your cool little stuff, use your wrist, draw a card off the combo, you play Majin Buu, minus 10, draw the card off of the play, and then if they don't clear it, you can just recycle Crown and just keep picking their hand, all while just consistently adding cards to your hand.
That's a great point. Another cool combo is you could do that same Buu / Hercule arrival, and you could actually bounce back this new ruler, so he gets warped at the end of the turn, but you could actually bounce him back to your hands, and then have him, not infinitely, but have him more often than you would, your opponent would like. And so that's a nice little combo you could also pull off with the Hercule Buu combo. All right, well...
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, well, those are just some ideas. I think Gohan's a really cool multicolor deck to kind of toy around with. I'm sure there's other ideas. If you guys have any suggestions, leave some comments. Or if you have any questions about any updates, let us know. Again, I'm going to put Greg's channel in the description feel free to subscribe and like his channel as well. And stay tuned.